This video features high-end, limited edition collectibles and is intended for adult collectors.
Hey guys, welcome to Toy Chat. This is Max.
And Sang.
So, it is an annual tradition here on Toy Chat to cover the Integrity Toys conventions. It's something we've been doing since 2018's Lux Life convention. You know, we've been doing it every year.
It's our 5th year.
Yes. So, in 2022, there was no convention, but there was a special online event in place of it, and it was called Stay Tuned. So, in this video, we're going to be discussing the Stay Tuned Integrity Toys online event and just kind of our general impression of everything, how it was presented, of course with a focus on the doll reveals. So around mid-July was when we started getting kind of more information on details of the event. I think people didn't know what to expect. Like some people were like, okay, well maybe it'll just be really similar to like online, you know, virtual events in the past, like a, you know, Obsession or Legendary. But it turned out to be even more condensed than that, more comparable to Dolly Days, which we'll get into.
Yeah. Well, I think there was a lot of critiques about how it ran the last 2 years. Some people felt like it was too exclusive. Some people missed like the live in-person events, so it wasn't like a good substitution. It just, IT had a lot of headache.
Yeah.
Because of all the just negativities around all the changes. Yeah.
I'm curious where the community is in general in terms of conventions. It's like, do you want virtual conventions to continue the way they have been? Do you really want the in-person events back? Kind of keeping in mind that realistically speaking, it's not really possible, of course, for a company to please 100% of its audience when they have a diverse audience. So around the time that this July emails and information was sent out, they said attendees could expect daily unveilings, including short news flash video presentations, unveiling a new doll or dolls from, you know, the various IT brands and lines. At the initial summer announcement, they didn't share which brands would be included, but people were definitely given the impression that it was going to be a condensed quantity compared to like conventions. And it was one nice thing about it though, is another huge difference from conventions is that you didn't have to pay an additional fee for it. So this was like a free event for W Club members who've already paid for their membership.
As we mentioned, similar to Dolly Days.
Yes. So essentially a glorified Dolly Days, yes.
Yeah. So the theme was Stay Tuned. At conventions, they had a theme, so this year's theme was Stay Tuned.
It was basically kind of just like a retrospective showcase of really famous, you know, classic TV shows. It was very TV centric. Some of them are very old, you know, from like the 60s or implied, you know, older, as where some would be a little bit more modern, a little bit more recent.
Their dolls reimagined into these shows.
Yes,
yeah.
And so if you watched our coverage of Obsession and Legendary, you may recall that one of my main comments for sure, was that I really wanted IT to kind of give focused themes that would actually allow them to present the dolls within a theme versus just like, you know, fall runway, like summer runway, fashion models. You know, it's like I really appreciated the things like fashion fairy tale and
I like cinematic,
dark romance, stuff like that, where many of which we were not able to attend because it predated our time as W Club members. But I really wanted that to come back, and when I heard about this theme, it came off very promising to me because I was like, oh, that sounds really awesome. Like, you know, I'm intrigued, excited by the theme. And the first doll reveal, I was a big fan of as well.
Yeah, honestly, when they announced the theme, like I thought this would have been a really cool like in-person convention. Imagine them decking out like the dining room area with like retro stuff.
Could have been so fun. Or like an all grayscale, like
grayscale
ballroom.
You know what? If it's gonna go 60s, serve us in Borgia. Yeah, so it could have been a really fun in-person event, but you know. Yes. I don't know when or if that's coming back. Stay Tuned kind of gave me like WandaVision vibes. Yeah, so like they're jumping in eras. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first doll was We Love Poppy, and she was a mostly grayscale Poppy Parker, which I thought was genius for multiple reasons. Because for one, it just felt like they were very tuned into like the pop culture zeitgeist, because as Sang mentioned, there were like WandaVision parallels, which was a huge hit show just like a year or so prior. Grayscale dolls were very much like a pop-in thing in 2022. We had obviously the huge hit of MGA's Shadow High dolls. You know, Mattel did Real Drama, Monster High dolls that were a huge success. So I thought this was a really smart move. And it was very much themed after, of course, I Love Lucy. You know, of course, the
Which
classic.
there was a couple I Love Lucy films that came out in the last like 2 years as well.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, so this one, it was a very chef's kiss. I think they made a brilliant decision. But it was also a very bold choice, because has IT in their adult collector lines, like post like Playline days, have they ever done like a fantasy skin tone?
They did lavender skin tones.
For who?
It was a Style Lab a while ago. Yeah.
Okay.
It was. I think it's for like color infusion. I think, and I think.
Okay.
I think there was a couple of colored gem dolls as well.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, regardless, it's not a common thing.
No.
In IT at all.
This one was designed by Mark Tinkley. Yes, so he definitely hit the mark with the theme. Poppy looks really cute. She was a made-to-order doll, so if you wanted to order her, you just pay the deposit, and she's supposed to come out in the springtime. And yeah, she comes with quite a few things for her price point at the time. She was $175, and she comes with a skirt and a pair of pants and 2 pairs of feet and shoes.
Does she come with a little wardrobe test?
No, she doesn't. But you can get that wardrobe placard thingy with the swag bag.
Yeah, I loved this Poppy. You know, if you're not that huge of a fan of that particular fashion style, then maybe this wouldn't be for you, but I think this is a fabulous Poppy, and it got me really excited for the theme.
And keep in mind, she came out, her pre-order came out in July, so this was way in advance from this event.
So this was a great move, I think, to get people hyped for the theme, for the event. So fast forward to November 14th, the event actually begun, and again, it was structured really similarly to Dolly Days, where there were just like emails every day, but it was actually multiple emails throughout.
3 emails each day, and Carol made sure to stress this is not a convention, this is a event in place of a convention. We got 3 emails. The first email of the day was kind of a teaser. They gave you kind of a like a TV schedule, like a TV guide schedule of the certain era with shows and runtimes. Some of the TV shows were actual real TV shows during the time, and there's a couple in there that were made up, and then they gave us a little hint on which one will be the doll of the day. And it was pretty easy to find out which one it was, because it was the made-up one. But unless you don't have much knowledge of television from that certain era, then it is a little tricky, but we were able to figure it out pretty quickly.
They did also in the first email have a cute little bonus activity where they were hosting a lottery where W Club members could win a $100 ITE gift card. And they called it the Power Doll, which is of course a spoof of Powerball lottery.
Yeah, honestly, it was kind of funny because like the Powerball lottery was going on at around the same time, and it was like $2 billion. And
everyone was talking.
Yeah, so it was in kind of like the conversation.
Yeah.
And also back in my day, like lottery drawings were on television. So if you wanted to, play along, you have to watch the show. Yeah,
off to a promising start. The hint for the first dolls was it's rich, it's glamorous, and it's about to go down.
And then the only thing that's on there that is not an actual show was Legacy.
So, in the follow-up email, as they said, the reveal came in a video. Didn't know what to expect in the video. And so, the video reveal, it was standard to most IT videos. It was like the locked link, so you just access it through, the email. And it was basically like Alon and Carol and like voice acting over like a PowerPoint presentation. It was so It was cute. The videos later in the week, I think, were better. The first one,
It was campy.
yeah,
Mostly campy,
it was very campy. It was like a series of transitioning and images and stuff, and it was very much a play on Dynasty.
Yeah.
The IT equivalent spoof being Legacy. The dolls revealed were East 59th, and the first one is Legacy Burnt Champagne Part 1, Della Rue. Della has been, I feel like, a really popular East 59th character.
Yeah.
Even though she's a Victoire sculpt, is it? Yeah. She's the Victoire sculpt, but reimagined as a new character. And Della in this screening is gorgeous. She was really pretty. I like her fur. It was definitely giving Dynasty. I personally haven't watched Dynasty, but they're inspired by specific Dynasty characters and clothes they wear during like their cat fights and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you do not own Adela, I think she's a great option to get. But I think the one issue that I had with this Della is she's very similar to the other ones. So I think Chris, the designer, he kind of chooses a color palette for his dolls, and all of the Dellas so far have silver hair, gray eyeshadows, and red lips. If you just focus on her face and her makeup, they all look very similar to each other. And her outfit, unfortunately, also reminds me heavily of another doll, Pink Champagne Aurelia. She wore a similar like gold sequins and white satin outfit.
That's true. Yeah, but it was really, when Sang pointed it out to me, I was like, oh wow, the Dellas are all really similar in the face.
Yeah.
Specifically, even though like the screening's the same, the color palette is the same.
Yeah.
It's like red lip, silver eyeshadow, in all of them.
Yeah.
Hopefully her color palette is played with a little more in future releases. But she's very pretty. She was priced at $165. She was a buy for me.
Well,
but
she's a lottery.
well, she was a lottery entry for me. Of course, we had Victoire. We had Legacy Burnt Champagne Part 2, Victoire Rue as the other doll.
And I think when I first saw her, I thought she was like a new screening. It didn't even look like Victoire.
She looked really different.
Yeah, but
Victoire's sculpt is crazy.
Yeah.
It's such a versatile sculpt.
So it's the same screening as the one you have, the lavender one you have. Chris said he just intensified some of like the color in her makeup, but yeah, she looks really different, and I love the short hair. Hopefully, it looks nice in person.
I think we can mostly all agree that the star of this fashion is the puff on her. On the over the shoulder, yeah, love the puff. I saw multiple people saying that it is kind of giving Luxe Life. Their bubble skirts and puffy sleeves and everything were like rampant in Luxe Life.
Yeah.
I think she's really pretty. I really like, again, the puff steals the show, but I like her black fur. This screening is really gorgeous on Victoire. I feel like her hairstyle is a little bit unique too, because we've gotten kind of the little curly hues before, but this particular, the way it lays on her head seems a bit different. So I think this is a really pretty Victoire.
Yeah. Also, second time Victoire is in a red sequin dress.
Yeah,
So-
that's true. Yeah.
But her screening and hair is different enough that she's worth the purchase.
Yeah, for sure. East 59th has been kind of like the underdog that had a comeback, because I do kind of feel like it was one of the less popular lines for a long time, but I feel like East 59th has been producing some dolls and lines in recent history, some of which developed a lot of popularity.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and Della became a hugely popular character, and so, you go East 59th. Yeah, I think it's fun to have another, line to choose from.
Yeah, both of these are edition size of 750.
So not that large of an edition
Yeah.
size compared to some of what we're gonna
God.
be seeing later.
They were very modest with them.
Yes.
Yeah, so there is a swag bag that is available to purchase, first come, first serve, later on, I think the following week from the convention. How much is it? It is $15 plus shipping and handling, and it comes with a little tote bag, a little paper cutout of a TV screen with 9 souvenir insert cards for each of the shows, and as we mentioned before, the wardrobe test cards that were featured in I Love Poppy.
I'm going to be very curious how the little TV and souvenir cards look in person. I feel like if they wanted to really spoil us with this, I would have loved a fully fleshed out TV accessory, like a 3D just little retro TV. I think that would have made an awesome gift for this event that you need to pay for, because there was nothing free in this event because you didn't pay to attend it. I'm a big fan of thematic stuff. Even though the designs here are kind of simple, I like the Stay Tuned design aesthetic. I like kind of the classic static, stuff like that. I think it's very cute. I like it on the tote bag. I like it on the packaging. I guess the packaging was revealed later, but and the souvenir cards look super cute. Again, this would have been such an awesome accessory if you can swap out all the souvenir cards and your doll is watching all the different shows. But we'll see how it looks in person.
Yeah. All right, so we're on to Tuesday. So we got another TV guide, and the hint is it's not just for children.
Yeah, which this to me felt like the most open-ended hint. I was like, what? Because the TV guide they provided had a lot of text and shows on it.
People point out really quickly that where is it, Miss
Galaxy Girls right there.
Galaxy Girls is misaligned. It's not aligned with the other stuff. And also the channel 11 is off.
Oh, yeah.
So
little Easter egg clues. Yeah, I didn't really participate in these little guessing games as much as I could have. I think if you really got into this aspect of it, you could have some fun with it. But not too long after, we got, once again, a video reveal. So, the reveal was another Poppy Parker. And that's not going to be the last time you hear me saying that in this video. But, spoiler alert, and it was Galaxy Girl Poppy Parker. There's a lot to discuss here. It is a fantasy skin. She has pink skin, blue-haired Poppy in a futuristic, galactic alien outfit. And this is based on...
So the inspiration for Poppy is a little bit more loose. It's kind of the spin on that era's sci-fi shows. A lot of people were guessing it could have been based on Space Patrol, which was a popular show in the 50s. There is a 50 icon next to the Galaxy Girl TV Guide listing. A little bit of Star Trek in there as well.
I love this Poppy. I think she's probably one of the most unique Poppies ever created, obviously with, the fantasy skin, the pink skin. Now, when it comes to fantasy IT dolls, obviously, as many of y'all know, my tastes lean very into fantasy. I really love my dolls to be giving fantasy, but this theme seems to be a lot more polarizing among the IT fandom, because the IT fandom seems to, really value versatility and redressability and stuff like that. So a lot of people were saying I can't do anything with this Poppy. I can't redress her. Da 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 da. That's not a really huge issue for me, and I also personally am perfectly content. If I'm gonna put my IT doll in a different outfit, I can put her in another fantasy outfit because I think she's really cool and really fun. Definitely a bold choice, but one I'm glad was taken because I just think she's so fun. Her outfit, as much as I do like the two-tone white and blue, it's definitely simpler than it could have been. She does come with a cute little space pistol. There's not really, I think, a va-va-voom factor in the detail of her outfit, which was unfortunately a little bit of a recurring theme in this event.
I had a feeling that it might be a very basic in terms of fashion, given Legacy was supposed to be, very glamorous look, and they all have kind of sequence outfits. But she's cute. I knew instantly Max was gonna love her. And honestly, when they first showed her in the video, I thought it was a trick of the lighting.
Yeah.
But she's actually pink, which is really cool. I mean, the thing is there's at least a dozen Poppy a year, so you gotta do something to make her different. And apparently they lost a bunch of the screenings, or they misplaced them or whatever, so we're stuck with 2 screenings of per Poppies apparently. If they're gonna change something up, change your skin tone. Change your hair color. This is perfect. But I can understand, if you're gonna spend $165 on a doll, you want to be able to play with it. So I can understand people who want to dress her up in different outfits, but she is a special doll, just like the black and white Poppy. She celebrates an event, and I think she does the job. But I wish she came with like a blazer or something. Yeah.
Yeah, some sort of jacket, blazer, fur, I think would have really gone a long way here. Girl, her edition size.
Oh, yeah.
There are 3,000 of her. I'm gonna be interested to see. I guess, I don't know if we really specified that, not all, but most of the dolls in this event are lottery.
Yeah.
Weren't they? Yeah, most dolls in the event were lottery, so this Poppy is lottery, but her edition size is 3,000, which is a massive IT edition size.
Well, if you consider the last Poppy, Desert Dazzler, was almost 4,000.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah,
I mean,
a lot of Poppy fans.
Yes. I'm going to be very curious seeing how quickly that lottery sells out or does not sell out. So for day 3, Wednesday, the hint was from awkward to hot, from state to state. There are plenty of laughs ahead.
Okay. So the 2 guesses were Bel Air Princess, which is a play on Prince of Bel Air, and then the other one was Fashion Matters, which is a spin on Family Matters. So people are guessing, are we getting both or just one of them? But those are the only two that were fictional, not real shows. So it turns out that it was 2 shows.
Yes.
With 2 dolls.
Yes, so it was in fact Fashion Matters and Bel Air Princess. So yeah, it was, a spoof on Family Matters and Fresh Prince of Bel Air. And the 2 doll lines were Monarchs and Meteor, respectively. So for the Monarch, we got Fashion Matters, Tobias Alsford.
And he's the spin on Steve Urkel.
Urkel, yes. And specifically, I haven't watched Family Matters in so long. But I know Urkel sort of had like that alter ego kind of.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Because he was such a super nerd, and then he had like that. I'm all like suave now.
He goes in like a machine. I think there was like a machine he goes into.
Yeah, something like that. And so this doll embodies like that transition. Like he has, like a very cute little like nerdy look and a sweater. And then they show him with his shirt off and suspenders and, just like, being a little sexual deviant now. But as we've said, Sang and I are not really Monarch collectors. We have already on multiple occasions on this channel discussed, kind of our thoughts on, the Monarch body sculpt and stuff like that. However, this particular Monarch actually has the body. So if you're not a fan, of the Monarch body sculpt, you don't need to worry about that with this release. I love Tobias's face sculpt. I think he has a super handsome face sculpt. I definitely want to continue seeing this character in rotation. For me, and again, this is sort of a recurring theme in Monarchs, the fashions, there's like little pieces you like. You're like, oh, I like that. I like this little thing over here. All together, I'm like, I don't know. So, I think some of his pieces were super popular, like the sweater, adorable, super cute sweater. I liked the green theme overall, like in his socks, stuff like that. But the whole package, and for the price point of Monarchs, which is $180 to $200 a pop, it's, if you're not loving the whole package, it's just a tough sell.
Yeah, exactly. The price point is a recurring theme for this convention. It's a little too high for what you're getting. He's cute if you are a fan of Family Matters and Steve Urkel. This is a pretty good interpretation of it. I know some people had issues with his pants being too high-watered, and I think Steve Urkel usually wears jeans. Some people wish it was jeans or like that. I think at this price point, they should have included 2 pants. That was just me. He only has 1 outfit.
Pretty much. They present it in a way where it's like, oh, remove his layers and, take his shirt off kind of thing. But
he is a bit simple.
He is. I think it's a great doll, standalone doll. Really like Tobias, but the whole package was just a tough sell for me at that price point. And the second doll was Meteor. Which is a little bit of a newer line, designed primarily by Vaughn.
Monarchs and Meteor are Vaughn's
Yes.
babies. Yeah.
Yes, and so this is Bel Air Princess. So it's essentially like a gender bent Fresh Prince of Bel Air, which I did actually really like that concept. I did really like gender bending, like classic 80s, 90s. Yeah. And this is Kiki Adaze. Okay. A lot of this does come back to comments we've made in the past about the sculpts of Monarchs and Meteor, among some other, design and fashion issues. On top of the fact that they're all incredibly expensive. Actually, I don't know if our Meteor is maybe not that expensive. It's like
175, I think.
Okay, well.
170?
Yeah. There are bits and pieces of this that work for me. It feels like a little bit of an awkward full package, and at a price point of $175, it's just $170, the W Club price. It just feels like a little bit of a tough sell. It's very loudly 90s-ish fashion, yet it isn't. I feel like once you remove the jacket, like this look alone with just like the skirt and the fishnets and stuff like that, I don't know if that's giving me the right theme / era. And also, this is not one of my favorite Kiki screenings.
The picture they included, she looks wonky. Her eyes are...
When you look close, she's actually really wonky.
She's really wonky, yes.
So
hopefully that's corrected. My issue is her clothes look a little bulky on her.
Yeah.
So the cool thing is her jacket is reversible. So you can have her in more of like kind of like the school blazer, and then you can flip it out, and it's kind of has that pattern.
Oh, I don't know if I even knew that.
Yeah,
okay.
So it's a reversible blazer, which is cool, and her purse is cute, and she has really intricate boots. But I don't know if I enjoy what's underneath. Like, I think her top is very bulky on her. I don't know if those are supposed to be. I guess those are supposed to be like necktie rings.
Which the scale, and this
off,
is another honestly kind of a recurring theme in more so in Monarchs, but is scaling. The scale just looks off on the sizes of a lot of things.
And her skirts is really skimpy. Like her leggings peek out over the top. I don't know if that was a design choice or something, but that's a really simple skirt. It should have been more pleated. Yeah, it's not for me.
Curious what you guys think.
Yeah,
of
and
these two.
and I'm curious what their edition sizes will be, because both Tobias and Kiki are going to be made to order.
So moving on to day 4, the hint was every actor wants to make it big. So the video reveal for day 4, I only know because of the Family Guy parody. That girl. Or whatever. It's based on what's it called?
That girl.
Is it called That Girl?
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah.
IT spin on it is called Miss Independence. So the Miss Independence was the working title for That Girl, so that's where that name comes from. And of course, Family Guy made fun of it with that guy. But yeah, it's Poppy Parker.
So Miss Independence Poppy was a bit of a controversial reveal, I think, for a few different reasons. For one, there were a lot of people who were like, guys, we're on day 4 and you haven't given us any FR or new face, for one. And there's like 3 poppies attached to this event. I also personally found it kind of ironic that like a lot of people were just complaining about like this very fantasy, Galaxy Girl poppy, and I'm like, to me, this is like a paper doll kind of poppy that you can like put in whatever you want. And she's also very similar to existing poppies. You could say she's a bit similar to Pretty Bird. She's kind of like very similar to Pretty Bird. She has some things in common with was it Black Tie also had like a little bob thing?
Black Tie, which was a recreation of the original Poppy.
This was to me just kind of like a safe poppy. After kind of like the va-va voom factor of Galaxy Girl, I was kind of like, with this one, I personally passed on her. I think it just started making some people nervous because there were still such significant lines missing, and this was like day 4 of 5.
So she's a lottery, so she's ready to ship. She's an edition size of 2,500. Quite a lot, but not quite as much as Galaxy Girl. I think she's all right. She reminds me of a lot of other poppies, but again, we're coming from collectors, specifically poppy collectors, so we have accumulated quite a few poppies. So I think if you are newer to the poppy universe, then this one would make a pretty nice versatile poppy. But we have seen plenty of this stock poppy before.
For the final day of the event, day 5, we got an email with the teaser being saying Glam Night and Girl in the City, which was very clearly, a spoof on the Sex in the City font stylization. So I got kind of excited for that. I was kind of like, that piqued my interest a little bit. I was like, okay, I will gladly take, are they gonna make like a, an FR or a New Face doll in, Carrie's iconic like puffy skirt and pink top, from the Sex and the City intro or something. And then the Glam Night, it was implying multiple dolls.
Yeah.
What's the one theory we kind of had was like you could have like a Carrie and a Samantha or a Carrie and a...
Well, yeah, Samantha's always been 10 years older than the girls, so they could have had an FR character to represent Samantha, and the rest of the girls can be FR characters.
Yes.
But that's not what we got.
I was also wondering, if there would be like an Agnes or something.
You always have an Agnes.
Every time Emmeline appears, she is just. I feel like it's like a swerve. Like every time people are like, what? But anyway, we'll get to that in a sec. So
the teaser they sent out was a red carpet event with Emmeline.
The teaser, also, I will say, the teaser for this one was probably like the best one. It was like Carol voice acting this like Valley Girl, like influencer reporter, and it was like these characters inspired by real world, characters and stuff like that. And they let us know that 2 of the dolls were Jason Wu collaborations. And then, we were of course getting specifically a Sex in the City, inspired doll. And it ended up being one of my least favorite characters in the existence of IT. Hello Lover, Giselle Diefendorf.
So that's the character in the show.
Yes.
Girl in the City.
I will say I really appreciated the title of this doll because Hello Lover, don't come for me Sex and the City fans, but it's what Carrie Bradshaw says either when she goes into her closet or when she's talking to her shoes, or what she says to her shoes in her closet. One of those.
Yes.
So I thought the title was very cute.
This one, I can already tell her hair is gonna be a huge mess. It's just already, even the promo images, it's like,
It's giving Laguna Blue.
Yeah. Stray hairs. If you have issues with stray hair, this doll is not for you. But Carrie Bradshaw has really
like Toozled. Yeah. So I mean, but I even think, I don't know if
the ends aren't correct.
I don't know how well it would have translated to like doll scale, but if almost like a shorter Toozled, and also the highlights, girl, I would have wanted highlights would have been super cute. Also, the fashion inspiration they went with was something that SJP, Sarah Jessica Parker, wore in the show, or just
so her outfit here is a mashup between 2 outfits that Carrie wears in the show, and we'll put it up here. But it's a mashup between 2.
So yeah.
Personally, I prefer just one of them as the outfit she wears rather than this Frankenstein outfit.
Yeah, I also feel like, the hat they included, I don't know how well it'll stay on my IT doll, but the hat I feel like was a very iconic Carrie thing in general. I think she even had her weird little hat in her wedding dress in the movie, which I think was controversial. Which I think is cute. I think the fashion is probably the highlight here. I think it's appropriate. She comes with an alternate pair of shoes and the little hat.
And those shoes were on the shows as well.
Mm-hmm. I really don't like Giselle's sculpt. So I'm almost never a fan of her dolls. Yeah, she's made to order.
For how much? $170.
She is $170. Yep.
I did not purchase her.
Yeah, I think when Sex and the City is your inspiration and fashion was such, a defining aspect of that show and all that, I don't personally think this was the worst choice. It wasn't the best choice. Yeah. I think there were definitely other, much more fun outfits. Maybe they really wanted to go for signature Carrie, but if they wanted to do that, do the opening theme outfit.
The thing is, Janae, the souvenir Janae from 2 years ago from Legendary was wearing a Carrie-inspired outfit. She wore the tulle dress and the big giant flower. I think there's a lot more fashion on the show that's I would personally prefer. I think you looked it up. The Sex and the City characters, or at least Sarah Jessica Parker was in her 30s when she started filming Sex and the City. So I prefer they would have used an FR character.
Yeah, because New Face is supposed to be
25,
younger, in their 20s. Yeah.
And I prefer, if you're gonna use someone with a little bit more of a grimace-looking face, Agnes is your character.
There were actually a lot of people saying Giselle was not the best character to represent Carrie.
If you were gonna do new face, I was talking to Max. Like, I would prefer if they use like Aaron or Imogen.
Where are you at, Imogen? We sent out a missing persons thing that was finally responded to for Raina. Now we're gonna have to send one out for Imogen. I don't know where Imogen is. Anyway, that was that doll. So we got 2 Jason Wu creations. So the first one was Jason Wu Collection Winter 2021 Ameline. Yeah, it's Ameline. There were 2.
I do really like this Ameline. There were 2, yes, but I prefer this Ameline. We found out that she's wearing a dress worn by the actress who plays Charlotte on, I think, the red carpet premiere of the Sex and the City revival. I honestly prefer how it looks on the doll.
The dress,
ruffle,
the dress is fire. Yeah. Love the dress. Everything else is like, She has a very specific, pointed sculpt. Ironically, one of my favorite Amelines was one of the least obtainable ones. The $400 Net-a-Porter or whatever one.
Yeah.
This one, I don't think we've gotten very many or any like redheaded like Amelines really. So. There's that. Jason Wu dolls are always really expensive, and
you know what? He made it made to order. So if you want to get her, and you're in a club, you can.
Yes.
And she is $200. So $199.
I'm like, do I want to pay $200 just for the dress I like? I was like, I don't know. If they, for Jason Wu dolls, bring back the Velvet Touch. I don't own a Velvet Touch doll anymore, so I think it would be fun to have like. If they're gonna be charging these hefty prices, granted, I don't know how popular the Velvet Touch feature was
nice,
among collectors.
But I think it intensified like staining. So
yeah, you might need to be like more careful.
Well, I was gonna have to order her. She's nice.
The finale, the convention doll, if you will, for the non-vention, was another Ameline. Probably another questionable choice when this was super condensed. I don't know if releasing 2 dolls of the same character was the best move. Jason Wu Collection Spring 2020 Ameline, and she's in a long black gown with a little splash of pink in her shoes and her clutch.
And this is not a new dress. There was already Elise wearing a yellow version of the dress. That came out a while ago for Net-a-Porter, I think.
Yeah, I gotta be frank, this was an immediate pass for me.
Some people said her eyebrows are a little intense. They're new eyebrows.
She's
like they're not rightly scaled. Yeah, like those.
She looks a little Vanessa-ish.
A little bit.
Yeah. Not for me. The dress is too simple. The doll is very similar to Vanessa's and other dolls past. I think the little splash of pink is cute. She was an easy pass for me.
I feel like we've moved beyond mitten gloves, guys.
Yes.
But I do not want to put doll hands in mitten gloves anymore.
I almost feel like, I think especially for IT, where the collectors, I'm very curious, you guys as IT collectors, like, are you okay? I know it's like she who we must not speak of in IT videos. Barbie is very known for like the mitten gloves, even in like the adult collector releases. I'm curious how IT fans feel about it because IT is such a brand that I think is really all about like elevated realism and stuff like that. Frankly, if anything, I know it's probably not the perfect solution in everyone's opinion, but I really think just the colored hands and the arm warmers just work better. Especially you can sculpt the hands to make it look textured differently. And I think actually in some cases they've done this very successfully.
If Rainbow Hive can, another brand we should talk about. If Rainbow Hive can make fabric shoes, why can't someone do fabric gloves? Yeah.
I think if they were going to do another Jason Wu doll, he might be.
Elise Eastland.
Don't even say the name. Is Jason Wu like allowed to use Agnes? Has he?
I assume so.
Has he? Yeah.
He was in the company when they made Agnes.
Yeah, I would like to see. I know IT usually wants to use Agnes for specific purposes, but I feel like it would be fun to see her in like a Jason Wu creation.
Yeah.
Especially just because Agnes is such a fail-safe character.
One of my favorite Agnes was the Jason Wu outfit.
The intimate reveal was Jason Wu.
Yeah, she was the.
Why did that never happen ever again? He used at least 25 times after that.
I don't know. It was.
I would have preferred like an Agnes here
Yeah.
or something. I don't think, especially just with the collection this small, I don't think the same character should have been used twice.
No. Poppy, looking at you. I love Poppy. I like all three Poppies. I'm gonna get all three.
Yes, saying as a diehard Poppy collector. That was it for the Stay Tuned event. You know, obviously, yeah, we still need to attempt to purchase the swag bag, you know, in box.
And all the lotteries.
And all the lotteries, we still do not, at this time of recording, we do not know the results of the lotteries. But
We will definitely do a haul of the stuff we actually can obtain. I'm not sure if we'll do one of the dolls that are made to order, because IT is in a really bad position where everything that's made to order takes a year. So I don't know if we're going to be sitting around waiting on some of these dolls a year from now. But
yeah, I don't think I have as negative of an outlook on this event as a whole as some people in the fandom seem to. But that being said, it was a spotty event. Again, to kind of reiterate, Sang and I talked about this a lot, is IT contributed something that was one of my top demands, you know, or like requests from prior cons of like really kind of leaning into a theme, you know, something to have fun with, something that where it's a clear theme where you know what you're getting into, you know, like if you were to sign up for it and pay for it versus like obsession, you know, however you want to interpret that. It was rough because I feel like if this were a fully fleshed out event made into an experience, you know, where we could have, you know, kind of moved through these eras of television, and of course, if there were more to choose from. I think because it was such a small collection, misses are going to be, versus the hits, are going to be much more glaring because the community has much less to choose from. So they're like, if you're only offering us like $9 total and we are not a fan of like 4 of them, you know, it's...
I think you also have to consider, going off your point, people are staying at home and they've been waiting for this event all year, and you only unveil $1 or $2 per day. They're going to hyper fixate on that doll.
Yes.
Obviously, at that point, they're going to pick things that are wrong with the doll or wrong with the photos. And something that's kind of an effect of virtual conventions is we don't get to see the doll in person. Like, there's a whole different experience when you get to see what the product actually looks like in person, how like the eyeshadow might glimmer or make be metallic, or two-tone hairs look different.
I'm going to interject on that for 1 second. So on that note, I really feel like they could have like really made the most of that in their little video reveals, which were a little simplistic as is. If they just hired a person, you know, who was in charge of like, and I mean, granted, yeah, I'm not expecting IT to have like a Disney studio budget or whatever, but you know, if they hired a person to do like little animations or like, oh, let's use this as an opportunity to showcase the doll, like let's take a prototype of the doll and show rotating footage or what she looks like in different lighting or whatever. And I know sometimes it's maybe hard for them to get their hands on a prototype like at the time that they need to.
Some of these dolls are in their warehouse, like some of these are ready to ship, like they can like hire us. Their whole thing is, oh, these are prototypes, they might change, and like, well, then what are we buying then? Like, are we buying on like a promise these dolls will look like this? And also, yeah, they have done it for some of the dolls, rotating footage for some of their dolls before. So it's not like a brand new concept that they're not willing to do.
Yeah.
Some of them they have done before. During normal conventions, like everything sometimes are out at once. Like the convention collections are out there, so 6 to 10 dolls that are out, and you can pick whatever you want. There's a little bit for everyone.
I appreciate this event for what it was. It was like a slightly elevated Dolly Days, essentially. I definitely don't want the conventions to go away. I empathize with the fact that IT is in a bit of a tough position, given that it's really hard to please everyone. There are people, international fans in particular, who are like, we really want you guys to continue the virtual conventions because it's really hard for us to travel. There are people who are kind of legacy, you know, IT collectors who've been around for a very long time who are like, you guys have historically done these events. I want to be able to attend and have my in-person experience and meet other collectors, which was a really special experience for us, you know. And seeing the dolls is such. I mean, when you are making these financial commitments, when you are, I mean, like the amount of con dolls like it can add up to thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
like to make this investment. So it's like, I think worth stating that like if we're going to make that commitment, it's really nice to see the dolls in person. So that's why I definitely do hope, I don't want to rehash too much what we've already said in previous videos. We've already said like, yeah, they could do a hybrid model, you know, absentee attendees maybe, you know, for like a limited version of the experience if they don't want to attend in person, whatever. I feel like IT has implied that conventions are going to come back next year. They haven't been super direct about like, in person, they asked about how are you guys feeling. They didn't even use the word con. They just said, how would you guys feel? Like, I think they're just testing the waters about like an in-person.
That was a survey like last year, and they haven't really acted on it.
An in-person event.
Yeah. I don't think in-person convention is going to happen anytime soon unless production is back to normal. Like, it would be a really weird position to be in IT's position if you set a date and you rent a hotel and you set up all these things and you take people's money and the doll's not ready. I mean, there's been so many production delays. We are still waiting on like half of our W Club dolls from last year, and we haven't even gotten the upgrade dolls yet. Yeah. So
Really?
there's so many things that are backed up in their factories that is an in-person event even going to be possible? Is any conventions even going to be possible at this point?
Yeah.
Because like they have to have product to be able to sell to people. Yeah, they're so backed up right now. So I can't even imagine what they're dealing with right now. And it seems like they lost a lot of stuff too. Like it seems like they're sticking with like a very small group of characters, things that will sell. So yeah, it's conventions. I'm not sure when it's going to happen. I'm not sure next year even be possible. Going into this event, I wasn't expecting a convention, and I think that really helped with expectations. But I know a lot of people were really pissed off that this wasn't the same luxe experience as the last 2 years even.
Yeah.
It's more of just like, here's the dolls. Yeah, it's literally just dolly days. Okay, so during the last video teaser, we found out that Emmeline were designed by Jason Wu, and two names pop up that weren't associated with New Face, and that was Mark and David. And there was no mention of Jesse, who was the main designer for New Face and FR. And we didn't see FR at all in this convention. Yeah.
Jesse Ayala, yeah.
Completely absent from the convention.
Well, yeah, which turned into kind of an elephant in the room, and by the time the convention was over, people were like, where's Jesse?
Did he leave the company?
He was, yeah, people, there were some like really extreme speculations. People were like, yeah, did he leave the company? Like, what happened? I did notice that Jesse posted on Instagram, he's those Dolly Eyes on Instagram. He was like radio silence from him for while the event was occurring, but then he did ultimately end up posting like an Instagram story or something, but it was just something very simple. It was just like a image of the event, of the Stay Tuned event, and that was it. I think that was maybe his just being like, yeah guys, I'm okay, I'm alive. But he wasn't present at this event. I think his design choices were missed for sure. You know, I think Jesse is one of the boldest, you know, most risk-taking designers at IT, which, you know, the very nature of risk-taking, it's not always going to hit the way you want it to. And I think Jesse might have had a little bit of a rough time with the last convention because the reception was not so warm with the, you know, the handful of very like sports-centric themed dolls that people weren't expecting at the Obsession Con, and the reception to those, you know, was very, very polarizing. Yeah, part of me was under the impression it was like, just as a designer in general, and us also having a design background, you know, it's like, you know, you can experience burnout too when you're, and I feel like there was a period where Jesse was in charge of so much. Like he was doing New Face, FR, he was doing a lot of the convention dolls. Maybe because I think some of Jesse's works have been smash IT hits in the past. Like, I mean, some of the most massive IT grails in recent history were designed by Jesse. So IT at a certain point might have like really leaned into that, and they're kind of like, okay, design this huge portion of like everything we do.
Yeah.
So, you know, if Jesse's on a break, I'm sure he deserves it. But, you know, hopefully we can see, you know, some more of his work in the future. It is cool seeing more of, you know, like, you know, Mark and David and
Chris.
Stuff. And yeah, I mean
definitely Chris has a following now. East 59th is doing really well. And Mark, his Misaki dolls have been really pretty. We purchased several of them, and we're really excited for True. Drew's coming out.
Yeah.
So Mark is he's really at it, and I'm really excited to see what he'll come up with next. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for this conversation about Integrity Toys, the Stay Tuned event for 2022. Definitely let us know, what you guys thought in the comments.
And also stay tuned for more IT content from us. I know it's been a rough patch. It's been rough for IT and it's been rough for us. Again, we pre-ordered something many moons ago, and it seems counterinactive to talk about a doll and then have it ship 9 months to a year later. I did write a script for Mystery Date Poppies.
We had every intention of doing that at some point.
Maybe if you guys want to see it, let us know.
Yeah, obviously our schedule has just gotten really packed, and there's certain things that we have to prioritize, and so as we have said before, it's just it's tough to fit everything in. But we totally recognize that IT fans who follow us have been super loyal, and so we definitely want to do our best to provide you guys content. We're sorry it's dried up a bit recently. We will try to focus on it, where we can. Playline has been crazy, obviously, so there's just a lot to cover there, and that's a big source of traction on our channel. So, it's we kind of have to focus on that. It was definitely fun having this conversation, and again, we're gonna try to have a haul once we actually have the stuff on hand. We're gonna try to keep IT conventions an annual tradition on our channel in general. Even when it's not a convention. But let us know what your thoughts are on Stay Tuned in the comments below. Our full Integrity Toys playlist will be linked on screen here. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't, and we'll see you next time. Bye.